Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine. I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my little space where I document my knitting journey, which has evolved into a fibre journey. I am now dabbling in spinning, and there's quite a few other crafts I would also like to try. The idea being that we cultivate community here and a sense of sharing knowledge and togetherness. But yeah, I hope that this finds you well. I hope that if you're new here, that this is a nice space for you. If you've been here for a while, it's really lovely to see you again. I do appreciate the company. I have a cup of coffee this morning. I have a flat white. I just wanted a little bit of a pick-me-up. It's really early in the day. I've filmed already today. I filmed my little hobby video, which was interesting. It was definitely different for me, and I definitely don't know that I have the confidence or I haven't found my comfort in that voice yet, but I hope I did. I created it with honesty and authenticity, so it's all I can do, and it's all that we can ask for from one another, I think. But I hope you have a beverage or snack or project to keep you company as well. I'm very much enjoying this today, I'm not gonna lie. I think I've got quite a lot of to share. I think I've got 4 projects today, some of which you've seen, some of which you haven't, and I also have quite a bit of nature and sort of adventure footage that I will put at the end. We had a really nice weekend. Saturday I had a really gorgeous run in the rain and saw some friends, which was really nice. I haven't, cooked lunch for not just one, like me and Alex, but for multiple people in our home for quite some time, and it felt really nice to just be. And then yesterday we had, I hope you cannot hear that fly. I tried to get him out, but I had no luck. Yeah, we had a little bit of a slower morning, and then we just walked all of day yesterday on Sunday, until we came home and just sort of did bits, life admin, and just made our house feel a bit nicer, and it felt quite rejuvenating, which was nice. So which is why I probably am able to do a little bit extra today, and then hopefully I can have some time later on in the week to maybe meet a knitting friend from across the big pond, all the way from America, and do a few other things that I've been hoping to do that are a bit more creative. So it's good so far, and hopefully you enjoy that. I know there's some fun little bits of nature footage that both myself and Alex have quite enjoyed filming the last couple of days. Put my drink on the floor, not on a quiet mat. It's going to be fun for me to edit. I'm wearing a pure mesh pullover by James N. Watts. I really like this version. It is very sassy, if I don't say so myself. I used alpaca silk from Hobby. Really impressed with this so far. It feels lovely against the skin. I quite like that it's thicker than the yarn that James calls for, therefore it's a bit more of a pop. I am very excited to knit a lace weight version very soon for a friend for her birthday. In fact, I have got that to share. I'm going to share that with you, but I didn't pick that up to share. Yeah, it's a really nice pattern. It's worked flat and then seamed, which gives it a lot more structure, which I do really appreciate in a pattern, especially when it's this kind of style where it is mesh. It's not got the biggest structural integrity, but I'm really enjoying it. It goes very well with lots of things. I've spoken about it a few times, but it's a really good layering piece, both for adding warmth and a little bit of sass. But you could wear this easily hidden under an item of clothing in the winter for an extra thin layer of warmth, and it does just that. I'm gonna see if I can get this fly out. That was unsuccessful, but it seems to have vanished for a little bit. Ugh. Chaos is what we do here. Very gentle. but we do. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. I do have a bralette underneath, but I cannot show that, so I'm not, just because I'm wearing a dress. But I'm knitting a third version, which I'm secretly hoping there'll be enough yarn to do myself a lace weight version in this too. There probably won't be, but we'll see. Oh, you have to go. Success! I did it. Okay, I feel very a little bit more relaxed now, and hopefully I won't rush through this. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It is from Ito, I believe it is, and the yarn is called Kinu. It is 100% silk. I think this is a Japanese company. Fine yarn from Japan. Yeah, it feels really nice. It's a little bit, I would call, slubby, so it's not all one thickness. It sort of goes all over the shop, but it's consistently all over the shop, if that makes sense. It's quite soft. It's not it's lustrous, but it's definitely different to anything that I've knitted with before. I don't have very much to share. I am using the recommended needles, and it looks a mess. But here it is. Professionalism. So here it is. It really doesn't look like very much. It is definitely a lot finer, and I really like the fabric it is producing. It evens out really lovely when you give it a little stretch. I'm currently knitting the first piece. This is the front or back, but either way you knit the front and back separately, and then you pick up for the sleeves and knit them backwards and forth, and then you seam all the way along, and then knit the collar. It's a very nice, very simple pattern. There's only a bit of mattress stitching. You do have to kind of be careful the way you do it. I am not the most precious person, but you do have to be a bit careful, but it gives it a really nice finish and structure. So yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting on it. It's simple, really easy pattern to work, but I like to pay a bit of attention to when I'm knitting this, just because it would be so noticeable if something went wrong. There's not many patterns that I've knitted like this, but if you drop one stitch or you add another one in, it would be very noticeable. So I'm trying to take my time, but this has to be done by not this weekend, next weekend, for a friend's birthday. It is a big one, it's a decade number, and I'm hoping to have it done to gift it before we go and see a very special band to me. We're going to see My Chemical Romance. It was not meant to be for her birthday at all, because obviously it's been rescheduled for over 2 years, but it's now falls basically on her birthday, so it's very exciting that we get to consider it that. But yeah, really good pattern. I think there's quite a lot of sizing. It's one of the things that James is really good at. I think him and his sort of collective of friends are really good at that. I feel like there's a group of them that have like become besties, and they do have a very good ethos when it comes to sizing, which is very cool. What else have I got? Where should we go? I'll do the other James N. Watts pattern, even though it's a work in progress. We'll do finished objects last. We're going to shake things up a bit. Who'd have thought? In this little bag here, this is one that I made using leftover bits that I had. I am knitting a Best Beret by James N. Watts. This is a pattern that I've knitted before. I knit a red version and I really liked it, and actually my friend who I saw on Saturday reminded me, she's like, didn't you say you were going to knit a black one at the time? And I was like, oh yeah, I must have done. So it's finally happened. I have outright copied or taken inspiration from lovely Maria of Woolen Forest, and I'm knitting a black vest beret. I'm using recommended needles. I'm not sure why. For the first time in a long time, I've put a smaller needle on the left hand, and I think it might be part of the reason I'm knitting this so fast, but also it just feels really nice. I am using this hobby yarn called Evergreen. It's an organic 100% wool and some drops mohair. The combination of them is absolutely lovely. It's lofty and fluffy and just really nice to work with. So I basically did this in an evening and then a morning, and I have put it down. I think because I have quite a few gift projects that I'm working on at the moment, it felt a bit cheeky, and also I was enjoying it so much I kind of wanted it to last. But I think I'm gonna just crack on with it today and get it out of my whip pile, because it's going to be so fun to wear. I have chaos hair at the moment. I don't know what it's doing. I should maybe have brushed it. Sorry, not sorry. But I feel like it's going to be a nice sort of alternative to a beanie hat at this time of year, where in the evening I want a little bit of warmth, but it's a bit more sassy. I don't know, just something different. I used to love berets a lot when I was dressing in more of a vintage rockabilly style, but I've never had a black one, and that seemed really wrong. And I might pass my red one forward, even though it is gorgeous and it goes with a cardigan that I've got, which when I do occasionally go out for dinner, I don't at the moment obviously, but if we start going out for dinner again, you know, it's nice to have a little matchy vibes. But this, I am knitting the smallest size and the classic silhouette, so there's two sizes, a small and a large. Very easy. You just adjust the length of the I-cord that you cast on with, and the classic, and I can't remember what it's called, but it should be like extra silhouette. There's a normal fit and a slightly more oversized fit, and I will block this just on a dinner plate, and maybe I won't even block it the first time I wear it. So yeah, really enjoying it. These stitch markers are a gorgeous set that I'll bring them closer for a moment. Can you see them? That Nicole of ThymeWeaver sent me. I gave her a discount code for her blooming box for the spring equinox, and she very kindly surprised me with a new set of stitch markers. And if you've been here for a while, they're basically what I use. I really love them. If I'm not using just bulb stitch markers, which I also really love, these two are my choice for stitch markers, but it felt really nice to put a full set on and just, but jade, amethyst and rose quartz are probably my favourite stones. Got some rose quartz here, and I feel like they're the ones that kind of, you know, they're the stones that I'm drawn to, so it was a big surprise to have them all in one little set for me, but they're beautiful. And yeah, that might be finished next time we chat, which would be fun. I do have like probably 18 hours of editing to do this week, so I'll probably get it done during some of that. There's mohair on here. In fact, there's mohair in here. I don't just like mohair, I consume it apparently. I'll share the other whip while we're doing whips, and then we'll finish with the finished objects. I have a little basket here, and I'll show you the colours. Pop you there. So this is the palette that I've gone for, And we have some more yarn that I'm not sure what it is. A lot of this is leftovers, but not, I don't really, even something like this, which is starting to look a little bit small, this is useful, especially when you have projects like this, which are, I didn't realise, are beautiful and useful. We'll talk about the project, but this is the last remnants from Spectrum Fibre. This is the colourway Smoke, and it was the first or second fancy hand-dyed mohair yarn that I ever bought, and I knitted a soiree from Emily Foden using it, and I'm managing to use it in this project, and this will all go into this project. I've got some alpaca silk lace weight from Drops. I purchased this to knit a like an all-in-one underlayer, but have actually discovered that I've been using it quite successfully in heels and toes for socks, and now I'm using it for this project, and I used a similar yarn for my last version of this project. This is something that I'm really into. It adds a lot of strength, but it's lightweight, drapey, a good luster to it. I've got some ash grey Drops alpaca silk. I've got some undyed yak that has some splodges on it because I'm a chaos dyer. Some more Drops mohair. I think these were when I was deciding what colours to knit my Spiritual Guardian cowl in. I've got some finer yarn. I've got the very last bit of the fog from a Knitter's Homestead. This is her lace weight base River. This is just a gorgeous colour, and I'm going to use every last scrap. Not lace scrap. And then this one is also from River, and I love this colour, and I'm keeping half of this for myself, and I'm going to probably just knit a hat. I love this colour. It's not something that I have been wearing that much lately, but I do love to wear it, so I'm hoping to have a hat that will go with more of my dusky pink and black outfits rather than my red and or lime green outfits that I seem to be drawn to. But this colour is called Moonstone, and oh, it's so beautiful. You can see the variegation in it. It's tonal, it's not really variegated, but there's some really good depth in here, and I just love it so much. And River's branding is gorgeous too. Look at all that fluff and scrap on there. I'm naughty, aren't I? So this is the colours that I'm going for, and this is for one of my best friends. So I'm knitting 2 tops for 2 friends for their birthdays in May. Clearly I'm drawn to a certain type of person, and they're both very different. But this is my 3rd cloud bow, but this will be a top, and we're not too far into it. I won't show the book again, but it's from Pom Pom magazine, issue number 40. It's a gorgeous design. I've knitted 2 versions, one plain one as a dress and one very colourful one. But not very colourful really, but for me it's a lot of colour. So sort of wild meadow vibes, spring, for a wedding, and I'm using the same technique I did for this on this one. The pattern uses, I think, one colour throughout, and then you add lots of different colours, sort of scraps throughout in different weights, but I don't know, I'm just not, I like stripes sometimes, like you'll see, but that's too much chaos for me, if that makes sense. So what I've done is I've held 2 strands together throughout, but I've changed only 1 strand at a time, so it sort of fades a little bit, a bit mild, but not heavily, like I'm being quite choosy with the colours. And this is the effect. I'm really, really happy with it. It's, you know, there's a sense of striping, there's a sense of marling and colour changing. But this is quite a quick project to knit up. I'm knitting the second size, but my friend is a little bit shorter than me. I have knit the sleeves to the length recommended, and it might be that they want them to be knitted longer, I'm not sure. But I think it just needs to be tried on, so I'm not going to get too caught up in the fact that I will have finished this when it gets sent to my friend. It might be that I need to add a bit of length or adjust it in some way, because I find it very difficult to knit for other people without, you know, set instructions and measurements from the outset. I have followed the patterns almost entirely. I did the same amount of increase in the width as recommended this time. I have done a I-cord bind off instead of the recommended stockinette. That was just something that I did before and I really liked the outcome, and I will do the same on this. But yeah, you knit the front piece and the back piece separately, and then you pick up for the sleeves, knit them flat just to take the shoulders out a little bit, and then you join the sleeves in the round and knit them down, and then you pick up, increase for the peplum, and then knit in stockinette and bind off. So it's going to be a fairly quick project, but again, like I did with my pink one, I'm only knitting this in the daytime, and I haven't been knitting quite as much as I usually would. I talk about it frequently and dabble without oversharing, I hope. But I've been unwell, I'm starting to feel a lot better, the sun's out, and I'm just using my energy more for movement and just improving things around me for times when I otherwise can't. So I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm being very conscious of listening to my body, but also that means that I haven't been knitting in the daytimes or that as much. But this is bringing me joy. It's such a calming set of colours, and hopefully it'll bring joy to her too. She just finished her first finished project, I guess, of the year, maybe in a long time, and knitted a simple vest top in sort of, I think it's like an oatmeal-y grey, and I thought this would be quite good underneath it for sort of the office and but also a bit more fun and interesting than just a shirt under a vest. So yeah, really fun project. I go on about it a lot because I've knitted it now 3 times, but it's a really simple project to knit on. You can make it as colourful and as simple as you want. You can turn it into a dress, you can have a frill on the dress or not. It's really versatile, and I do really think that I would like an all black version with long sleeves and the frilly skirt for the winter to put over even this, to add lots of warmth. Big thick woolly tights, my docks, it will be probably a big staple. And yeah, I'll make a few adjustments if I knit it again for myself for that purpose. This is different because I see this as a more of an over piece, or like a cinched in with the vest. But if I knit myself a long sleeved dress version for the winter, I will bring up the underarm so it's a bit higher because it sits very low, almost at the waist, just so that I can fit jumpers and cardigans over it that are a bit more fitted without, you know, shoving it in. So yeah. Share this one. So I think this was in progress last time I shared it, and it's finished, and I think it's really fun. Really fun. I was talking about this, so it's sort of inspired by multiple things from it, or you could say Freddy Krueger, but I had a red and black striped jumper when I was a teenager. I loved it. I really wanted to recreate an old Vivienne Westwood jumper that was also in red and black, but a company called Hobby very kindly sent me some yarn to do a review. It wasn't paid, but it was just sent to me, which is very kind. It means that I get to be playful and explore without spending money, which I couldn't do this without those sort of fun little things that happen, and I'm very grateful for them. I do not undervalue them at all, and my gratitude is very real, believe me. So yeah, being able to be a bit playful, I decided to take that jumper, that concept of a drop shoulder, simple jumper, and just make it a bit more fun. So I used this kid silk from Hobby. I used some mohair and nylon from Dinah's Home of Craft in the colourway Juniper, which was the two colours that I used for this section. The Juniper was a bit darker, so it kind of muted this green down just a little bit. And then the black is from Drops, it's Drops mohair, and then the 100% British wool cone from Woolly Knit. I don't think I need to talk about Woolly Knit. I think a lot of knitters online are now raving about it, but it's a lovely affordable cone of yarn. I really like it. It's been quite hard wearing so far in the items I've already knitted, and it is very affordable. I think the 125 gram cone was about £5 when I bought it, and the 500 gram cones are £16 or thereabouts. So you get a lot of yarn for a very affordable price, and they're a little bit fairly open, I think, actually, about where it's from, so that's good. So yeah, I decided to create a drop shoulder jumper. So I cast on for the back and then picked up for the front, knitted down for the collar shaping, and then I joined it in the round and knitted it in the round. I have done a split hem, so the front and the back are split, but I've decided to add a lot of length in the back for wearing with leggings and things. Because it's so light, I can still tuck it into jeans and have it look a bit less different, the length in the front and back. And then I've added drop stitches on both sides, which I love. And then I knitted the sleeves in the round, and again I've added a row of drop stitches underneath, and I'm so happy with it. I opted again, I've got an I-cord bind off thing at the moment, clearly, but I've just done an I-cord bind off. I didn't want the sleeves to come in at all, and I could have achieved that with ribbing, but that wasn't the feel that I wanted. I wanted much more minimal. And yeah, I love it. I'm very happy with it. It's, you know, I talk about it a lot, but it is practical because it's so lightweight while adding warmth for me personally, while I also am a klutz, so I will often catch these chunkier knits when I'm, you know, rummaging in the shouting cupboard, as we've affectionately called it for the Hoover or things. But it's very wearable, it's very fun, and I've already worn it quite a bit. I will make sure to pop it on after this just so you can see it, but this is an item that I've had in my head for a long time and didn't quite have the right yarn to do it, so I'm very grateful to have, you know, been given that and been able to use up some of the other bits. I could basically just always knit with Drops black mohair or a black mohair, and I definitely would, and I think that's what I will do my cloud bow in if I can. That won't happen for a long time. I've got lots of projects at the moment that I'm kind of prioritising. I've got some creativity in me that I really want to let go with things like this, which I am thinking of writing up. I still have a bit of a kryptonite situation with grading. I understand the process, but there's a lot of there's parts of it that I find to be quite bewildering, numbers that I'm not sure where they would have come from, But I have this issue with maths anyway. Alex will often say what's blah 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 times blah blah blah, and I'll give him the answer, or what's what percent of this, and I'll give him the answer. But my brain will figure it out, and then I'll have to backtrack to say how I figured it out and go, oh, that makes sense, because maths is so much easier than words. So yeah, I think I'm gonna write this up. Maybe with a few tweaks, but maybe not. I'm really happy with it, and it would be a fun one to be able to share. And I think it would be equally cool in just one colour as opposed to the stripes. I think it would be equally cool in one colour and the stripes. The final thing I wanted to share is knitted using this wool, which I'll get a full skein. This one. So this is Iona wool from Scotland. Iona. It is listed as a 4-ply yarn, but it's sort of maybe a sport weight yarn. And if I remember, there's maybe 7 breeds of yarn in here, breeds of sheep, not breeds of yarn, even though that is sort of a thing too. So this is the colour Serpentine from the 4th batch they have sent to have spun. Forgive me, I'm very distracted. Iona is an island. There is a craft shop there, and they have done 4 batches or 5 batches now, I think they're up to, of wool. They've got a very limited palette. The fibre itself is gorgeous. They use what they can, what is grown there particularly, and this fibre, when it comes, is quite toothy, very toothy, and doesn't look like much, to be honest. It benefits so much from washing. It blocks amazingly. I recommend, if you are interested in woolly wools, trying this. I really do. But I would say maybe if you're not sure if you can handle, it softens up lovely, but it is maybe on the side, if you are very sensitive, it's not for you. If you're like on the fence, it's worth trying, but I would maybe say buy just one skein and try a hat or something. But the project that I've knitted means that I can wear it next to skin, no issue. And I'm very excited to share it with you. This fibre is something that I already used for a project that I'm going to talk about next week, for the Yarn Journal of Scotland, the Journal of Scottish Yarn. I'm really distracted right now, sorry. But I'm here again. I knitted a tabard in it, which is going to be released this month, if not early next month, and it's an item I'm very proud of. I'll talk more about that in the future when I have the item, but yeah, I'm really chuffed, and I loved it so much that I ended up having to buy this so that I can finish the set with the bits that I had. But I was very lucky enough to apply to do a preview knit for Pom Pom magazine, and having loved the last issue so much, I thought, yeah, this would be fun. And when I was sent the designs, I was immediately drawn to these, and I just knew that I had to do it because it was the right weight of yarn. It was a good colour. I love this colour so much. I just had to make it work. So I asked if I could do the shorts, and Sophie was immediately like, yes, that would be great. And here they are. So these are the reduplicate shorts, and I love them. I am going to make a matching top, but I'm going to very much change it from the pattern. But this I did as a preview knit, so I really just followed the pattern, did what I was told, and I couldn't be happier. The construction is super clever. It's a simple case of follow the instructions, just do what it says and you'll be fine. They are a little bit challenging, which I really enjoyed. I don't think I've been challenged by a project in a while. It wasn't difficult, it was just, like I said, a case of remembering to just do what the pattern says and you'll be fine. I knit the smallest size and I couldn't be happier with the fit. Honestly, I didn't anticipate them being quite as well fitting and as comfortable as they are. They have pockets and good sized pockets. I'm going to sew them in a bit more as recommended, but they're good sized pockets for shorts. Yeah, so it's a simple all over lace pattern with a purl stitch panel along the side. You knit them bottom up. There's short rows in the back, so it's really like there's a lot of good shaping in this. And then it has a gorgeous little picot bind off and a folded hem for casing your I-cord drawstring. Yeah, only because I love my spiky belt so much, I am tempted to knit on a couple of belt loops too, just so that on the occasions where I might want to not have a drawstring and wear a proper belt, I can. I just love my single studded belt. I don't know why. I am still that emo kid. But yeah, really happy with these and I'm excited to knit the matching top, and I think I will do it so that I can wear my cloud bow over the top. Lime green and pink. I think it will be a very good. In fact, look, these are ridiculous and they were purchased out of a real desperate need for a comfy pair of things that I used only indoors for when I was going to the sauna a lot for health reasons, not because I can afford to do that. But look, so silly but also brilliant. I will be the lime green belle of the ball. But I'm already seeing it as an outfit. But yeah, I'm really excited for this to come out and be released. I think it's part of there's like a spring, summer, autumn 10-year anniversary magazine, and there's loads of patterns in it. I think there's 12. Don't hold me to that. But there's a mix of crochet and knitting, and like I said, there's not just a pair of shorts, but a whole matching set, and it's very cool. I will not make it look nearly as cool as the model does, I must say. But yeah, these are a lot of fun to knit, and if you are interested in knitted shorts, or even, I think you could very easily turn these into culottes, which would be very, very cool. Or trousers, like jogging bottoms, you absolutely could. Obviously you'd need a lot more wool, but that would be a really good winter outfit, and the pattern is just, yeah, very well written, really good. I'm not sure if I was smaller than me, I don't know. I don't know what size. What size am I roughly? I sit somewhere between an 8 and 10 in UK sizes, so if you were smaller, you would maybe have to figure out do a bit of maths and gauge swatch and just knit them at a tighter gauge. And I'm not sure what the end of the sizing does, but I love them. They fit me so beautifully and I can't wait. In fact, I will put them on as well just to show you what they look like, but couldn't be happier. So yeah, that is everything from me for this week. I hope that you enjoy the little bit of knitting. I have some spinning to share with you in the future, but I'm not far enough along to show you any sort of progress. Yeah, I hope you get some nice projects keeping you happy this week. I hope that you get some time outdoors. I hope that the weather's a bit like this for a little bit longer.